Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to continue working on the mini Lapbook, and I don't remember where we were last time. I think last time we had just gone off camera and finished sewing this, I believe. But we're going to set that aside, and I think we sewed these as well. So we're going to set those aside along with these. So far, we have the main part of it constructed. So we have this part that flips down or towards you, as well as this part. This is here already, and I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up that part, which involves, sorry, I'm looking at my sample, which just involves this little piece. So let's go ahead, and what I did here was I cut a little rectangle of paper, and then I circle punched it with this 3/4 of an inch in diameter circle punch, and then I kind of smoothed out the edge. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then I sewed around the edges the way we've been doing, and I'm gonna put it here so that a little bit of it sticks out, and I'm just gonna glue that in. So let's go ahead and glue that in. And so let's see what else we have. This little flap is completed, as well as this one that flops down. This needs to be sewn in. I think I forgot to do that. So by the next time I come back, this is going to be sewn in as a pocket. All right, and as you make this, keep folding it and making sure that it folds nicely, because it does require some space here, and especially as this gets thicker and thicker, it can catch. So what might end up happening is you might have to trim this more. So I'm going to set that aside along with this piece, which is completed. And we're going to continue working on, so this I just showed you, and below here is the body of it, but there's this middle section right here with this part. So that's what we're going to work on now. So what we need for that is a piece of patterned paper. I am going to go ahead and ink it right now. I am using drops of vintage photo in a frayed burlap pad. All right, let's go ahead and ink. And we're really close to being done. So I'm thinking it's going to be this video and at least one more video and possibly 2 more videos. I hope this is giving you some ideas, or if you've decided to follow along, that it's helping you. I made a minier one. I don't know if that's a word, but I made a smaller one of this before this one, and each time I learn a little bit more, and it's really like you have to think about the construction of it a lot, the structure. And I'm sure with different styles, it's like exercising a slightly different muscle as well. All right, so most of this is going to be covered up anyway, so I'm not going to ink it as much. I think next video we're going to be doing a lot of hinging to connect all of these parts together. All right. So let's go ahead and make, this has so many moving parts. I think next video is going to be finishing up odds and ends and hinging, and the video after that is going to be closures and string and things like that. All right, but right now, sorry, I'm putting my hair up. Right now, we're going to do this gray envelope. And for that, we need a piece of paper that is not wider than this. So I'm going to go ahead and trim some of this off, which I already marked here. Good thing I saw this mark because I was going to measure again. But we're going to trim it to the correct width of your patterned paper right here. And it's exactly that, pretty much. And we need a smaller piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure for you, but of course you can loosely follow along or follow the exact measurements. So I have this piece here that is basically 11 inches. It's like a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, like cut down widthwise. And the width of it is 5 1/4. So 5 1/4. This piece is 5 1/4. It's slightly bigger, but pretty much 5 1/4 and 5 1/2. And I mean, basically, it just needs to fit the width of the larger one. So what we are going to do is fold this, and we're going to fold it up to make an envelope, so it does not have to be exact, but I'm just going to make it exact because I'm like showing you guys. So that's about where I'm going to fold it, which is at 4 inches or a tiny bit more. So we're going to fold it up to make the body of the envelope, and then we're going to fold down, and I'm going to fold down by 1.5 inches. And like I said, definitely do not have to be exact. I just want to make it fit this, so that's why I'm just following my sample. All right, so what's going to happen with this? Okay, for some reason, okay, this is going to be behind it, so this piece is going to be glued behind it, but let's put a notch in. So I'm going to do just a notch so that it looks like this. So I'm placing the notch right there. And I'm just eyeballing the center and trimming it, just smoothing it down. And there we have that. So what's going to happen next is we are going to let's go ahead and put the closure because it's kind of crucial to the next steps. So I am going to punch a hole in the middle where the closure will go. I'm just going to eyeball it to center it. And I'm going to grab my closure things and hopefully without knocking down everything. Okay, so I had to take my microphone off, but that's okay. All right. So let's pick a closure. And I usually just pick whichever comes into my hand first, because these papers I'm using, the floral papers, are from Jenny Allsorts. They all go so well together. All right, so I'm punching a hole in my little circle. This is made with this punch, 3 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And it's just many layers of cardstock. Many layers of cardstock glued together. I'm gonna ink. I finally found a way that a way to store my ink daubers that I actually find useful. All right, so I bend the edges up just to make it easier to pull the string around. And I'm not doing the sandwich, I'm just, because I bend it up, I don't need the washer behind there, so. All right, so we have that. Now I am getting string, and this string is going to make the closure. So I think I've shown this before, but I just kind of thread it down with the needle, and I do try to find a somewhat sharp needle with a large eye in it, because I want it to punch through the paper. This is a slightly smaller eye, but I think this might fit through it. Sorry, I have to do this off camera. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna eyeball for the middle of this bottom part of the envelope and just thread it through. Actually, you know what? It's easier to knot it first. I'm gonna knot it 3 times first. So I am knotting a loose knot and then doing another knot to catch onto that first one so that it makes it a bigger knot. And then doing it one more time. All right, once that is done, we are going to center it. Remember, this is the bottom of the envelope below the closure. And it definitely doesn't have to be exact because you can just pull the string where it needs to go. All right, next thing we're gonna do is glue all of this together. I am just using tacky glue. Any glue will do because it's just paper, or you could sew it as well. But I'm putting glue near the knot at the bottom. And I think I glued the bottom too. And I'm putting glue up the sides. And leaving this side open because that's where the opening of the envelope will be. All right. So once that is done, we are going to construct the back part. Now this piece, as you can see, it's a little bit short. So I'm just gonna kind of move it up that way. So I'm gonna center it where I want it to go, or place it. So I'm just moving it up. And then I'm gonna glue down the sides. So let's go ahead and turn it around. And just need to mark the spot. Where glue should start. So let's start it right there. And we're not gluing the bottom of this piece at all. All right. Now we are going to just set this on top. like that. Let me grab some. I don't like glue on my hands, just in case it's not a non-toxic glue, but also because when I get glue in my hands get really dry. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. All right, so there we have made this back pocket. Let's see if there's anything I can stick. So we have made this pocket. Now we're going to glue it down just all the way. So I'm going to put glue. Actually, you know what? We're not going to glue that down yet because we need to hinge something onto that. So this is as far as we're going to get right now. Now the next thing we're going to do is, let's go ahead and just set this aside. And because I want to like kind of move forward in this video, I think we are going to do some hinging. We're at 21 minutes. So let's just go ahead and start hinging some things together. So I have a hinge that is the height of this entire piece, and it's also the height of this entire piece because we made this pocket to be the same height. So now this is like the critical part. So I'm going to think about this and look at my sample very carefully. And what we need to do is we need to get this piece of paper, this pattern piece that's going to be the foundation of this part, to be opening out to the left. So it's going to open like a book that's backwards. So the opening needs to be on that side, and the closing side needs to be on the right hand side. Then we're going to take this piece, and I want the opening on the right hand side. So this is the opening of this piece, and this is the closed side of this piece. I hope that wasn't confusing. And we're going to take a hinge, which is about 1 inch. Yep, it's an inch piece of paper that's folded in half. So that's the hinge. Then, because we are wanting it to fold this way, we're going to have to do the hinge so that it folds out this way. And again, here's the opening. So it's going to lay like that at the end. We want this to open this way, so the hinge needs to have the closed side on the left. That's so confusing because I'm saying the open side, the closed side, but the hinge's closed folded side is going to have to be on the left so that it will hinge out this way and open. So I'm just going to go over it one more time. The foundation piece, the open side is on this side and the closed side is on the right side. So you can just lay that in front of you. And then you're going to take the hinge and make it so that the closed side of the hinge is on the left side and the open side is on the right side. And then we're going to take this and make sure that the open pocket is on the right hand side. And I'm going to apply glue right here. So just, I laid my paper down with the closed side on the left side, and I'm just applying glue. Let me know, like, do I go too slow or too fast or anything? Because I don't want to over-explain, but I also don't want to under-explain. And for me, it's confusing, so that's why I kind of keep going over it. And then we're going to place this with the glue side onto this envelope. Onto the back of this envelope. And this is being like a little bit funky right now. I think because I didn't fold it perfectly straight. Alright, I just want to make sure I put a lot of glue on there. And I'm just going to reinforce it with a little bit of glue in here. I'm using art glitter glue because it's in this small, has a small nozzle. All right. So just go ahead and press that down. And then now let's apply glue on the other side of the hinge. Now we don't have to think about like what side or anything because we thought about that earlier. So I am applying glue to the back part of the hinge. And I'm placing it kind of in the middle. Kind of in the middle, a little bit off-centered. And I want this to stick really well. So I think I am going to go ahead and just leave it so that it sticks really well. And let's do one last thing before the end of the video. My videos have been taking so long to upload, like more than 24 hours, because they've been longer. All right, so we're gonna take a square piece of paper, no, a rectangle piece of paper that's gonna fit in this in the front of this gray envelope here. And then what I did was I took my scoreboard and I scored. I already scored it, but I'm just going to show you. I scored 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch on the two outer edges. So go ahead and score 1/2 inch and then score 1/2 inch. Once we have that scored, we are going to go ahead and fold it. And for the next video, when we meet back here, we're going to make sure that if you want to have a window, that you die cut in the middle of this piece right here. So that's what I'm going to do when I go off camera. And then we'll meet back next time to continue pretty much the start of putting things together, of all these little parts. But let me know if you have any questions at all down below. Thank you so much for watching today. Please give me a thumbs up if you've been enjoying this series, and consider subscribing to my channel for more tutorials. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye everyone.